Hello, my name is Sebastián Vargas, and they are my classmates of group Hugo Molano, Juan Diego, and Julian Sanchez, and we're going to talk about the past simple.
First, I am going to explain what is the past simple. There are many forms to talk about the past in English, but the past simple is the most common form to say the sentences in past. The past simple with the regular verbs. We use the infinitive and add at the ending ed. This form is very easy, but we have three exceptions.
We have three examples to the first rule. The first is cook, then that end in K, and we add only the ed, and in past is cooked. The second is clean, that is cleaned. The, the third is call, that in past is called. And we have four examples, and the fourth is that answer, that in past is answered.
First, for the verbs that end and with "d", add only the "d". For example, dance in the past is danced.
If the verb ends in a consonant plus a vowel and plus the consonant 2 will repeat the final letter. Remember that you can use this when the final consonant is Y or W. For example, stop. It has the consonant plus the vowel and finally the consonant. This doesn't have W or Y of the exceptions and the verb in past is stopped with double D.
3 point. The third rule is with verbs that end in a consonant and it is a Y. The Y is changed to an I and add the ED. Remember that this rule has an exception. That is when behind the Y are a vowel. In this case, you only add the ED plus the Y. I have two examples to explain the exception and the normally form. The first is the normally form, study. In this verb, you can change the Y. Instead this, you put the I and add the plus the I. Finally is started with I. The example for the exception is play. The final letter is Y, but behind it have a vowel. And the rules say that when the vowel is behind, you only put the ed plus the y. In this case, playing past is played with the y.
And the final rule is the irregular verbs that change are the verb in past. For example, it is changed to ate. This only
The positive form of the past simple is so easy, and the structure is that subject plus verb in the past plus complement. An example: Maria drank a beer.
The negative form is more difficult than the positive form. To form that, you have to put didn't and the verbs on infinitive form. First, the structure. The structure is first subject plus the didn't or did not plus the verb in infinitive form and plus the complement. And two examples. First, you didn't work very hard. And the second, she didn't live in Japan.
2. The interrogative form structure is WH. Next, did. Next, the subject. Next, the verb of the action in infinitive. And last, the complements. There are some examples. When did you break your leg? Did she watch the film?
If you don't have any idea that what is the WH, it is an optional part of the question. It is to say cuándo, dónde, por qué, o cómo in Spanish. But you remember this like what, where, when, and in other case, how.
The second rule to make sentences in past.
It is optional, but in some sentences it's very important. It is that you can put at the finale of the sentence the verb of frequency, for example, she stopped the car at 8 o'clock.
And last, we are going to talk about one of the uses of the present simple. The past simple is used to talk about a specific action that started and ended in the past.
Next, I am going to explain you about the other use of the past simple. The past simple is used for a series of actions in the past. Examples. I have two examples. A. I received the good news and immediately called my husband. He studied for an hour in the morning and worked all the afternoon and didn't return to home until 10 p.m.
But if you have any question, we can resolve it. Thank you.
Thanks.